Well, I'm back at Raging Bull Harley-Davidson in Durham, North Carolina, and of course my salesman talked me into going on a test ride, of course, because you know what that does to your Harley fever when you go on a test drive. Oh my. Wow, this is smooth. Smooth, that rubber mounted motor. Of course, this is the Road Glide with the shark nose fairing. Okay, the wind, of course we're just on a little feeder road here, but the wind's not bad. I'm not used to these tall handlebars. Not at all. My Indian's got the batwing style fairing with the lower bars. Before that I had a Street Glide with the batwing fairing and lower bars. So these tall bars, but these bars are way better than the handlebars that come on the 23 Road Glide. It's like a garden tiller. You know, you're going to till up your backyard to plant a garden. Is what those stock handlebars seem like to me on the 23 model. But this is nice. I didn't ask where the blinkers are. Yeah, they're still, I guess, one on each side. Yeah, typical Harley fashion. This one is in the base model color, the gray. So if you, oh yeah, this is nice. So if you follow my channel, you know I love my Indian, but I also have Harley fever. And right now, the 2024 models are hitting showroom floors. Most dealerships still have some 23 models left over. So if, you know, if I were to pull the trigger, my wife makes some fun of the way I say trigger. I guess, you know, I'm from Texas, we pull the trigger. But if I decide to pull the trigger anytime soon, I would be deciding, oh man, the suspension's way better too with that extra inch of travel. I'm kind of wandered off there for a minute. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, if I was going to buy anytime soon with 23 models left on the showroom floor, you know, obviously I think I could save some money by buying the 23, just because, you know, I'm sure they want to move the 23s. Actually, these 24 models are priced very competitive. They came in $3,000 to $4,000 less than I predicted. I really thought they would come in about the price of a Chieftain Limited or the Challenger Dark Horse or Limited, and they didn't. They're actually cheaper. They took all those features that you had to pay extra for on the base model and just put it on this one, and the surcharge is gone. So these are very, oh man, this is nice. Here again, I'm getting distracted. The tall handlebars aren't bad at all. I never owned a motorcycle with taller handlebars, and these aren't extreme, but I like the way they're more flat. Oh, this motor feels good. If I'm enjoying the power. Oh man. I think this wind protection seems better than I rode a 23 Road Glide last year. Man, this is, oh, Road Glide, Street Glide, I love them both. Again, I'm getting distracted. If I were to buy a 24 over the 23, it wouldn't really be for the new styling, even though I love the new styling. The fairing, the tank, the bags. It really wouldn't be for this gigantic screen. I don't know how well that screen may be coming on the camera. It wouldn't even be for the gigantic screen. If I buy a 24 over the 23, it's going to be for that 117 motor with 130 foot-pounds of torque. My Indian is the 111 with 119 foot-pounds of torque, which is considerably more torque than the Milwaukee 8107. But I could go from 119 foot-pounds of torque, of course that's at the crank on both of these, to 130 foot-pounds of torque. Oh my goodness, that motor is smooth. You know, people say, oh, the Harley shake. Well, they shake a little bit at a red light. Once you start rolling, oh, the suspension is so much better than the 23s. They only had 2.5 inches of travel on the rear. I think 2 inches of travel on the rear. Now they've got 3 inches of travel, and you wouldn't think an inch should make that much difference, but it really does. This is nice. Now my Indian's got 4.5 inches of travel, and it's an air shock, but so this may not be quite as plush as my Indian suspension, but it's a vast improvement over the 2023. My understanding, they retuned the forks to match this 3-inch shock on the rear. Man, this is nice. This is real nice. I think Harley knocked it out of the park with these 24 models. Not that the 23 models weren't bad, but and I just have it in road mode. I'm sure in sport mode, and of course, you know, it's a brand new bike. We're just easing around here. You know, even if you buy one new, they recommend you don't romp on it for the first 500 miles or so. Now I'm gonna get a chance to ride that Street Glide in Whiskey Fire. All right, where's the? I'm sure there's a gear indicator here somewhere. Oh, there it is. There, we're in neutral, and it'll tell you with the clutch in. The previous model, if you pulled in the clutch, and tell you what gear it was in.
What you think?
Man, vast improvement over the 2023. The 2023s aren't bad,
Yeah.
but it's almost like night and day difference.
Well, you got 2 inches more on your shocks.
Yeah.
That's one thing I was you saw me kind of swinging a little bit. I was just trying to like.
The suspension and the motor. I mean, obviously the new styling's great, the screen's great, but the suspension and the motor, if you're going to ride all day long.
Well, that's like going over the railroad tracks. I was checking out. I mean, I felt it, but it wasn't like bump, bump, bump. It was kind of like smooth.
Yeah, it was a vast difference. Now I'm eager to.
One thing that bike for me is I'm going to have taller bars for that bike.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I don't like my hand placement on that much. I need it more up here.
First time I ever ridden, well, second time. I rode my buddy mine's Fat Boy one time with ape hangers, but I've never, but the tall bars are different for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm used to these low bars.
Good go?
I'm ready. I guess I better put it in gear. I'm gonna stall it. Yeah, I'm used to a bat wing fairing, so this feels more what I'm used to. I'm used to the low bars. So in the twisties, I lean forward and feel, yeah, these do feel a lot lower than the Road Glide. But again, it's more what I'm used to. I don't know, I'm looking at the dash. I'm trying to figure out if these bars might could be tilted just a little taller, a little farther forward. But because I am 6'1", long legs, long arms. I think the seating position's farther back. I don't feel like I'm sitting up on the tank the way I normally feel on a Harley-Davidson. I've always said my Indian was much roomier. Larger floorboards farther forward, but my feet are stretched out pretty good here. I got my toes up against the crash bar. That feels pretty comparable from what I'm used to. Oh yeah, this suspension, I mean, this is a really rough road here. And I'm going over the patches that they repaired. Yeah, the suspension is a vast improvement over 2023. And the motor's, yeah, it's got plenty of pep. I don't know. I could be tempted to go Road Glide over Street Glide. I didn't think I would say that. Previous generation, I felt like I got better wind and weather protection from the Street Glide over the Road Glide, but I don't know, they feel pretty comparable on the wind and weather, because it's cool out here today, and I didn't put my jacket back on. I do have on I have a long thermal zone, long sleeve shirt. Let's see where we're going here. Oh yeah, this suspension and the motor. Wow, this is nice. All right, I'm getting a little, I guess I can close that. Getting a little wind with this short windshield, which is true on the previous Street Glide. I know it messes up the look, but I always put tall windshields on bikes. Now, if I make the trade, I will miss my electric windshield on my Indian. That is not a gimmick. I don't care what anybody says. The electric windshield, you know, I'm doing all of this, and I don't think I pushed the record button. Oh my gosh. No, it's just recording. Whew! I see the flashing light. I was beginning to panic. I've done that before. You know, man, this is nice. I keep getting distracted. The suspension, the motor, the looks, the features. What I've been saying in the past about my Indian, or any Indian for that matter, that of course, you know, looks are beauties in the eye of the beholder. I think both Harley and Indian make gorgeous bikes, but I've always said with Indian you could get more performance, more comfort, more features, and gorgeous looks for less money. Well, I don't really think I can say that, especially if I'm going to compare the 116 motor to this 117 that comes on the Indian, the 116 on the Indian. Well, then you're looking at, this one has more power, this bike has more features, comfort. I still say probably the air shock on the Indian is better than these rear shocks, but they're a lot closer. What you would gain on the Harley is better heat management. Harley's always done a better job, in my opinion, with heat management over the Indian. And I'm not talking about sitting at red lights. I'm talking about going down the freeway in the middle of the summer, especially living back in Texas. Sometimes underneath my right thigh on my Indian would get toasty. Like I say, running freeway speed, not at a red light. I expect it at a red light. So, comfort, I would be giving up my electric windshield and my air suspension, but I would be gaining, I didn't make it. Oh, I have to go catch him. I have to wait. Oh, there he is. He saw me. So, I would lose my electric windshield and air shock. I would gain better heat management as far as comfort. And I don't know, in some ways this motor, you know, it shakes a little bit at an idle where mine doesn't. But when I really romp on mine, it can get a little buzzy. I mean, that's really romping on it and getting in higher RPMs. With this motor, under acceleration, it is super smooth. I would definitely have to put a taller windshield just because I think wind fatigue on an all-day ride. I'll ride 400 miles and eat lunch and ride back home in the same day. I'll do an 800-mile round trip across multiple states just to eat lunch. So yeah, a tall windshield would be in order. Oh my, and I've just got it in, like I say, road mode. It's got sport mode, track mode. I think you can customize the track mode. Oh my goodness, this is, yeah, they know what they're doing. Come on, let's go take you for a test ride. No, I better wait. They know that increases the fever. I mean, yeah, the suspension, not quite as smooth as my Indian, but it's a vast improvement over the 23 models, in my opinion. Now, that's all my opinion. I'm no expert. I'm just a guy that loves motorcycles, loves to ride motorcycles. You know, I may be leaning toward the road glide. Now, I've always said on the street glide I can see more of the road, you know, see potholes coming. I don't know what either one of these bikes would be like on an all-day ride on one of those 800 miles. Yeah, see, I can feel a little vibration, you know, coming up to the red light. But as soon as you accelerate, that rubber-mounted motor smooths right out. Yeah, these are nice. My budget would allow, of course, I would keep my Indian and buy one of these, but right now that's just not practical. for me for numerous reasons. One is I don't have room to park another motorcycle. Yeah, this is nice. Like I said, I would definitely want a taller windshield. Feeling a little wind, you know, up around my shoulders, but it's not bad. Not bad. So yeah, that little road back there had a few little curves in it. This bike handles really well. It's amazing how nimble. Now, I've always said too, the Harleys, slow speed maneuvers, parking lots, things like that, they have a shorter wheelbase, and just overall it's a shorter bike than my Indian. So they've always done better in the parking lots. These feel lighter off the kickstand than the previous generation. Yeah, I like it that you can pull in the clutch and it still tells you what gear you're in. The previous generation Harleys wouldn't do that. It'd tell you the gear, and as soon as you pulled the clutch in, the gear indicator would go blank. The railroad tracks there weren't too bad. Yeah. Decisions. Where's if I put the blinker on there? Yeah. You know, if I trade, I will definitely have some seller's remorse because I love my Indian. I'm gonna get used to this. Got a tickle in my throat. Got to get used to these blinkers on each side. I'm liking that digital dash. The drawback is, excuse me, if you lose your digital dash, you lose everything. Not just navigation, you'd lose speedometer, gas gauge, and if you were 1,000 miles from home, that wouldn't be any fun. But yeah, these are nice. I mean, the suspension's not quite as smooth as my Indian, but definitely way closer. Well, I'm glad he talked me into going out on the ride. Of course, that definitely adds to the fever. So get it back in neutral.
That road glide. Wow. That's an impressive machine right there.
Is this the kill button?
Push up.
So last year, when I rode the road glide and street glide back to back,
Right.
I was leaning toward the street glide.
Right.
Today, riding them back to back, I think
Yeah. No, even for me,
I'm definitely lean toward the road glide. Kind of surprised me.
that I was amazed with that one. I just felt. I mean, I don't know what it was, and nothing against that. I say somebody thinks the hand position too.
And they're the exact same bike, but the fairing and the handlebars.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, they're identical.
Yeah.
But they've always been different, even though they were the same identical bike with the exception of the fairing.
Right.
And and both are gorgeous as far as looks. Now this one's obviously more iconic. The changes were a little more subtle. I mean, it looks more similar to the 69 fairing
Yeah.
than this one would. What was the original? It was Tour Glide. Tour Glide?
I think you're correct on that.
I think the original shark nose fairing was a Tour Glide before the road glide. I'm almost positive. And so if you looked at that original Tour Glide fairing, but actually I think it had blinkers integrated into the fairing. The original, look up the original Tour Glide. Well, they made back in the 70s. But now you look at that first one to this fairing, I mean, it's got the same basic shape obviously, but it's more radical. I think I told you my daughter, my 12-year-old daughter said road glide all day just because she said it looks more modern. It looks fast sitting still.
Yeah.
And you can say that of maybe a few sports cars and stuff, but
I mean, I was amazed because once I got on right on there, I was like, oh wow.
yeah, Harley knocked it out of the park. They took it to their competition. Of course, they, you know, Harley's king may always be king. They sell way more bikes than their competition, but still, you want to, you know, competition, you want to win.
No matter what.
Yeah, yeah. Even if you're the champion, have been the champion, you want to win. And really, this gray, it looks on this bike looks good. Well, thanks for taking me on the a little test drive there. Man, these are nice.
It's my first time getting to ride either one of them too, so it was exciting for me too, because I actually got the now I can tell people what I thought about them.
You can give them your personal impressions. So the suspension is way better than the previous year model. I mean, that extra inch of travel and the retuning the forks. Yeah. I've often wondered, since the fairing sticks out farther, you know, if it carries its weight different. Because to me, that one, almost even the suspension seemed to ride better than the Street Glide, but that may have been all in my head.
Yeah, no,
because it's the same suspension.
Yeah, no, I felt the same way. Something about this bike I felt more control, had more control and more lean in the turns.
And usually, I've always said the Street Glide felt more nimble. I felt like I would fall into the curves when I'd test drive a Road Glide, but I didn't feel that on.
You saw me.
Yeah.
Trying to get into them. I just wanted to see it. I mean.
And they're both gorgeous. You can't go wrong with either one. We were almost through with the ride, and I looked down and go, "Oh, I did push the record button. I thought I did. I've done that before. Done a whole video." And then I looked down, I saw the red light blinking. Oh, good, I did push record. I get distracted.
The light, I should have just went the whole time instead of coming to a stop. Because as soon as I pulled out, I went, damn it.
It all worked out. And they did a good job with the radiator. I mean, it's not some big, usually Harleys, when they put radiators on things, they're massive. But now the little reservoir thing on the side looks a little, down here looks a little goofy, but I noticed the CVOs, they have that lower part covers that up, so that wouldn't
a little like chin spoiler.
Yeah, that wouldn't be hard because you see them on you see the little reservoir thing there on this one, but that's nitpicky. I mean,
let me get these things back inside real quick. I'll get you back up front.
Okay. So I certainly had a good time out on the test drive. Customer service is really good here at Raging Bull. I first came here probably 6 months ago and had the fever then. I told them somebody takes me 2 years to buy a motorcycle, so I said you have to be patient with me. If I buy, it may take a long time, which drives my wife crazy. She always tells me I left my hat in the saddlebag. I knew I was going to do that. My wife's always telling me, if you want the bike, go buy the bike. But I left my hat. I told him I was going to leave my hat in there. Man, that Road Glide looks good. So does the Street Glide. Oh, this is the one I rode.
You rode this one first.
Yeah, that's where my hat is. I knew if I put my hat in there, I wouldn't forget it. Yeah, my wife, if she's going to buy something, she does her research. She decides what she wants to pay for it, and she'll go to the car lot. So this is what I'll give out the door, and they can take it or leave it. But I enjoy the hunt. Plus, I'm such a tightwad that I'm thrifty, as I tell my family. They say I'm a cheapskate. But you know, if you're interested in Harleys, go check them out.
Like and subscribe and leave a comment